Welcome back
Welcome back to another episode.
to whatever episode this is.
This is episode 9. We'll stop counting after 10. I think 10 is a... Yeah, I tried to let that one, I tried to not let that one happen, but I couldn't. There's nothing that I can do, people. He has a mind of his own. What can I do?
I have the hat on because...
Imagine if we weren't a podcast that was on YouTube and we were a podcast just on like Apple Music or like
What?
Spotify.
What?
Or like all they'd hear is a little flick.
Oh, yeah.
Flick. Or like people who like I listen to podcasts all the time on YouTube, but I don't look at the YouTube when I'm driving and I just listen.
I feel like a lot of people do that. I personally don't do that because I don't think there's a podcast.
Do you listen to podcasts?
Some sports ones, but I
Like
just say I
that
really
one
don't
sports
listen to
one,
podcasts.
is that like a podcast? That's like more like vlogging.
What sports one?
That one that you watch or not sports, sneakers.
Yeah, that's sneakers. That's just YouTube vlogging and stuff. It's a Common Hype. If you guys don't know about them, it's Common Hype.
Sponsor us.
Just look them up on YouTube. It's young guys who, sneaker resellers.
All he does is look at sneakers now. It's kind of
That's all I do.
obnoxious.
That's my new. That happened whenever COVID started. I watch them. I go online. I watch them. I go online.
That's literally all he does. I catch him on like all those apps
Right.
all the time.
That's true. And a tidbit for you sneakerheads out there. I think I'm starting to figure out the way you hit on these apps. You just have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. And also, if you purchase things on there, more than likely you will get exclusive access, or you will be, on the Confirmed app, you'll be able to buy it. On Sneakers app, you'll got them or whatever. And I think that's just, you just have to buy little things. I'm noticing that's what happens. Like once you start buying, the algorithm, whatever, figures out you're a shopper, even putting stuff in your cart and removing them. Because lately I've never hit ever on Sneakers or the Confirmed app, and this past month I've hit several times. So
He's been getting those shoes.
I've been getting them.
And he says he's going to sell them.
It's true. Today on the Confirmed app I hit on the Black Yeezy foam runners,
the ones that we talked about that one time, but
the
now they're in
Onyx,
black.
the black ones, and I'm selling them. I really don't
If
like
you
the color.
want them, comment down below. If you give us a good price,
Yeah, and I'm gonna sell them.
nothing lower than 500.
But again, I'm wearing my hat because I have still yet to shave or cut my hair.
Don't worry, you guys. The next, not next episode, but the episode after that.
Yeah,
he'll have
maybe we'll see whenever I get to shaving. I'm just so busy. I have no time.
He's just
so that's why I'm wearing it. So
busy.
instead of wearing the regular dad hat or whatever, I decided, let me throw this.
Yeah, like totally
What do you
goes
call
with
this?
That's like the fedora.
It's not a fedora. Is it a fedora?
Yeah, but it doesn't go with his outfit. So somebody tell him down below.
Well, obviously it doesn't go with my
politely.
outfit. I wasn't trying to make it go with my outfit.
Tell him politely down below that he shouldn't be, acting all, crazy. and stuff.
Anywho, so
Quote of the day. What were you about to say?
the quote of the day is, do you have one? I'll let
I
you
do
go.
have one
Go
because
ahead.
I wrote this one. I like to draw in my free time, on my iPad. And I wrote the saying, we grow through what we go through.
Can I get a steak with all that corn?
Have you ever been to like
I have a better one.
Wait, was that a good explain
a good one,
explain
yeah.
what that was? Do you understand it?
The journey is more important than destination.
Wow. a
But
good one,
mine is actually, the harder you work, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
But don't you
Let
always
that
say
sizzle in your spirit.
Don't you always say you shouldn't work what is
Huh?
it? Not work hard.
First of all, I don't say don't work hard.
No, like work smart, not hard. Work
I've
smarter, not
never
harder.
said that ever.
That's another quote. It's
Yeah.
true. You should work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, but you can
Don't-
do both. But to get to a certain level of success, you have to work hard. Work smarter, not harder is just. I feel like
What's the time when you feel like you've reached success? You've already reached it by marrying me.
I don't know. I feel like
Okay.
I don't know. When you reach success,
Me and him had this conversation.
I feel like if
before.
you chase success, you'll honestly never feel like
It's
you've
true.
reached it.
But
You'll
then-
just keep going and going because there's other levels to.
I remember we talked about this before, where like I was like, I'm content with life, and you're like, you shouldn't be content with life.
Yeah, there's no way we can be.
I'm content. I'm happy.
You're 20 years old. There's no way.
I'm 28
There's no way she'd be content with
on
life.
Friday.
I feel like unless you're on your
But what's wrong with
deathbed and Because I feel like we are too young to be content. That means right now, if our life just stays as is, yes, we'll be happy, but not for me. I mean, I'd be happy, but there's always more.
That's what. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying like if life stopped where it was right now, would you not be happy?
No.
You wouldn't be happy.
Absolutely not. Because I feel like there's just so much more for me to do.
Wow, I'm not good enough.
That's
what he's trying to say.
I feel like in my life there's
Defend
just so
yourself.
much more for me to do. Yeah, I'm okay having a full-time job, being married, having a house, whatever. But all that for me that's normal, right? I know I wasn't.
But there are people out there who don't get their dream job.
Of course, exactly,
I mean, it's
100%. But that's the thing. This is my life. Would I be content with it? I'm sure they're obviously not content, but yes, I have. It seems like I have everything. Not even everything. We have a house. We have, us. We have food on our table. We have a roof over our head.
We're blessed.
We're blessed, obviously, but I know I was put on this earth to be more than normal. So for me,
I was put on this earth to be normal.
Hey, that's fine because not everyone can be a CEO, right? People have to manage. People have to break it down. People have to.
Energy.
No, not that I have CEO energy. I feel like the older I'm getting, although I'm only 30, I can see I have aspirations but at the end of the day, not everyone can chase dreams, but not everyone can get there, because in McDonald's, somebody has to do the cash register. Somebody has to, take the fries out of the oil. Somebody has to flip the patties. Somebody has to.
Fun fact: Kay's first job was at McDonald's.
True. Somebody has to build the building. All that works his way up to the top. Bam. CEO, CFO, all the C-suite executives. But people are below them. So obviously not everyone can be great. But your greatness could be the cash register. Your greatness could be a doctor. Your greatness could be the best stay-at-home mom or dad ever. So
what's your greatness?
That is still TBD.
TBD.
I'm chasing it. Whatever's meant to be will be, but I'm chasing it.
Whoa. Wow, your voice got so deep.
I know, right?
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like it's echoing.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Anywho,
minor technical difficulties.
And we're back.
We had technical difficulties, but yeah, no. So I was saying is I don't know I don't know where I'm still growing into my crown. Remember from a couple episodes ago, I'm still growing into my crown. Wherever my head stops, my head stops. But I feel like
he's gonna become an actor one day. People, you'll see him on a billboard.
I don't know if I want to become an actor. I feel like that's just like a random dream.
Are you gonna drop me when you become rich and
famous? I might.
Okay.
I might.
All right, great. You heard it here first, people.
I might. Who knows? But I want to touch on
let's
last podcast because
circle back. We missed lots of holes.
Maybe I just didn't do a good job explaining my viewpoint, but because I posted a snippet of it on IG. If you follow me on IG, I also posted a snippet of it on TikTok. If you follow me on TikTok, and some people are like, "Oh yes, this and the third," but then one or two people, I don't know who they are, just some randoms with the TikTok usernames like user XYZ 5Z, some random people with no pictures of them on their profiles, those type of people.
Haters.
I don't want to call them haters. Their opinion is their opinion, but the thing is,
there's a respectful way to go about things.
Exactly. So I know they were essentially saying, because my viewpoint was, if you are married or when you get married, right, your wife should be number one. Meaning, not like you completely disregard your parents, you disregard your mom, you disregard everyone else.
You forget the value of your parents. That's not
obviously
what we're saying.
You keep that because before you had your wife, you had your parents. So your parents are just as important. When I say your wife comes first means if we're making a decision, I can go, Mom, I need your advice. I can go, Dad, I need your advice. I can go, brother, sister, friends, aunts, uncle, we need your advice. Oh, you gave us your advice. Perfect. We'll take that into consideration. Now I look at my wife. I go, Summer, what is our decision? Everything we've heard from everyone, what is our decision? That is what I mean by your wife comes first, right? And in a marriage, that should be the case. It shouldn't be, all right, mom, dad, brothers, wife, what do we decide on our life? Because we're the married ones. So it's not saying what do we all decide? Because we're the ones that have to live with those decisions, whether it's somewhere we live, names for children, cars.
It could be something as little or something
Yeah, exactly.
big.
Whatever, as little as big. But at the end of the day, the decision is ours, whether we seek advice or not. And I feel like that's how it should be. But obviously, you're still respecting your parents.
I feel like people were, not everybody, there was a good amount of people who agreed with what we were saying, and obviously we were talking very situational. Like,
right.
yeah, people were giving us situations like, okay, what if your mom's already in the front seat? Am I going to be like, or is he going to be like, no, Summer has to sit in the front seat? No, obviously, if our mom or an adult or is somebody in the front seat is already there, like, everything's situational, right? But I feel like, oh man, what was I just lost my thought. I just lost what I was going to say. But
I think people generally get the gist of, I hope you get the gist of my explanation. Again, just to be clear, I'm not saying screw my parents.
It's
all about my wife. No, everyone is still respected. Exactly. Everyone is still appreciated.
The value is still there for your parents. We know that your parents, like, after God comes your mom, comes your mom, comes your mom. Heaven lies under your mother's feet.
Right.
Like, we're not saying that the value of your parents diminishes. It's just that now you're building, yes, they are your family, but now you're building a whole new family where you're, you know, if you want to have kids, if you want to grow, you know, and go through milestones together, whether that be kids or other things, you have built a new family, a new relationship. So it's like, you can't be, I feel like it's almost like a toxic trait to like always have to like get the advice from other people. Like when it comes to like marriage decisions, because they're not in your marriage. Like, they did their own thing. You know, you learn from them. You watch your parents. If you're lucky enough to have both parents or whatever adults that you have in your life as influences, you watch those people and then you make your own decisions based on what your values are and your spouse's values are, and you come together and you decide whatever it is that you both feel is right. Because just because we value our parents' opinion doesn't mean we agree always with our parents' opinions.
Obviously, you know, your parents, they were married before you, so they have experience. They have good advice. But at the end of the day, you take that advice, you internalize it, you let it marinate, you sit on it, you sleep on it, whatever analogy you want to use. But at the end of the day, that decision should be between you and 100%. Your spouse. Like, and I feel like the people who are like, no, you know, my
like somebody
mom
was just literally like mother's greater than wife. Well,
like those people, first of all, I guarantee one, they're not married.
Yeah.
First of all, they'll probably have a hard time getting married and sustaining that marriage if that's their viewpoint. Oh, my wife says this, but my mom says this, so I'll go with my wife. It's
just a hierarchy. Mom. It's not
your
about
wife is
that.
Gone.
And I made it very clear in our last podcast that if your wife or your husband is wrong, we're not saying blindly, you know,
because if there's an argument between your wife and your mom or your husband and your dad, whatever the two parties are, the correct answer should be the correct answer. Justice should be the right answer. If your mom is wrong, your mom is wrong. If your wife is wrong, your wife is wrong.
Like if I could give an example, like if there was something going on between him and my family and he was in the wrong, this is what we're talking about. Like in regards to respect. Would I call him out in front of my parents being like, no, you're wrong? No. I would protect him. He is my husband. Like, if they're coming at him for something, I would defend him first, being like, hey, like, don't come at him. He's my husband. Like there's an appropriate way to communicate. There's an appropriate way to talk. And if he's wrong, then I would address it with him on his own. That is like the respect that we're talking about.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like, no, Kay's right just because he's my husband and you're wrong because, you know, you're not in my new family now, whatever. It's not like
same
that.
thing. Vice versa. If we're in that same situation and the parents are wrong, she wouldn't call out her parents in front of me. Some people might, but I don't think she'd call her parents out in front of me. You know, be like, when I'm not there, it's maybe something to talk about, or she'll address it in a subtle way. Just like she said, if I'm wrong in front of her parents, first she'll defend me, not saying it's her right that she has to defend me. If I'm blatantly wrong, if I'm being disrespectful, then it's her choice to say whatever she has to say or do whatever she has to do to make sure, you know, there's peace. But if it's something smaller, or if the case is, it's one, just like she said, she's not going to let them disrespect me. But at the same time, she's not going to let me disrespect them. Right. But she'll let me know, hey, Kay, you were wrong.
And I feel like those boundaries should be like.
Those boundaries should be. I feel like those should be established from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because
like I would never say anything bad about your parents in front or behind or to my friends.
Exactly.
Or I just feel like that is such like you defend your like no matter what, even if my family is wrong, like I'm going to be protective of my family. And even if he says like the littlest thing, obviously I'm going to be, sensitive. And so you have to be careful with what you say. Same thing with him. Like if I say something about his family that I might think is just like whatever, but it's his family. He's going to be more sensitive towards that. So like you have to be careful with what you say to your spouse or your significant other. And I think especially also behind them, like what you say to your friends, what you say, because you don't want
whatever you tell them, they have to take that. They have to take that to the bank.
Right.
That's what they know. If I've never met her friends, or even I know her friends and they know me just face value, and she's telling them when they go out to a girl's lunch or dinner or whatever, and she's like, oh, okay, does this, blah blah blah.
Or
his
parents
exactly.
Do this.
That's all they're gonna know because they don't live with us. They wouldn't see when I do the good or when I do the bad or when I do the ugly. They just take whatever she says and they run with it. And now they're telling their friends about it. Their friends telling their friends about it. Next thing you know, everyone thinks you in this certain light. That might not be true. It may be true, but it might not be true. So I think that's just one of the things you learn when you're in a marriage, right? It's like when you start off young, obviously newlyweds, until you're old and in wheelchairs or walkers, so to speak. That's just one of those early marriage, things that you learn, whether it's like finances, how do you want to split the duties, but those things, it's not even like you say, all right, they wanted
some people do though. Some people sit down and have to have a conversation. Remember that one show? We were watching a show and I think it was like Married at First Sight or something like that. And this guy had a credit score of like perfect credit score or whatever. And he was marrying this girl and he literally had like a poster board of like finances and how he got his credit score to be like perfect or whatever. So some people like do actually like sit down and have that conversation, or it just comes like natural, but whatever it is, no way is the right way. Right. But I mean,
whatever works for you guys works for you guys.
Exactly.
And again, it's not something, there's no handbook, or when you're going through you might talk about it briefly in marriage counseling prior to marriage, premarital counseling, but it's just one of those things you just have to experience and deal with it as it comes. But again, that was just a quick recap of.
And I think like that was a little recap of what I think the holes we were missing. But then I also like got into a couple conversations with a few other friends, and they were talking more like, okay, we're lucky where like, we have parents that don't put us in situations really very often or ever that we have to be in uncomfortable situations or positions where we have to like get into these like somebody has to be like the middleman or between the two families or whatever. We haven't really been into anything serious. Obviously like little things come up and things like that, especially because we come from two different cultures, but we really haven't had to deal with anything like super difficult. Alhamdulillah.
Outside of trying to get married, but
right.
That's all
we're talking about once post marriage. So I was talking to a friend and she was kind of addressing like the thing about how communication styles can be really different between the two families, and I think it might have seemed like we were making it seem that it's just an easy thing to have these conversations with your families and your spouses if there is like that you guys have to cross a bridge or you get to an uncomfortable topic or whatever. And I feel like it's important to address that because for us, I think we are like a little bit lucky where our parents are a little bit more laid back, but there are families, like for example, she was saying how her significant other's family is like really joking in like a very harsh way. Whereas her family is much more like they don't joke like that. They're very polite. And so when she gets into it with her in-laws, it blows up because she gets sensitive over it. And then they're like, well, can't you take a joke?
In that situation, I would say it's imperative for the middleman in that situation. The middleman would be
The blood.
Yeah. So her in-laws' kid, I would say that guy has to step in and say, hey, because I feel like for it to blow up like that, it's probably the straw that broke the camel's back. There are probably little things that happened before that. Maybe just like you mentioned, subtle jokes that just didn't go over well over and over. And that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I feel like before it got to that point, especially when it's in-laws versus your spouse.
So tough.
I feel like, one, that's extremely tough. It's easier said than done. But I feel like there has to be some type of dialogue that says, all right, the first couple times it was funny, but clearly my wife or my fiance, my girlfriend.
Hey, her communication style is just different.
It just doesn't work. And then... And I think that's how it is.
Honestly, it's all about communication. I really feel like that. And, you know, when you are having like a problem like this and your spouse comes to you and is like, hey, like what your parents said, or did you hear what your parents said, or did you hear that? You know, from either side, it's okay to like get the person calm, just talk about it with them, let them vent it out and be like, hey, you can still defend your parents and be like, hey, they probably didn't mean it like that, or you know what, you're right, like let me try and talk to them, and it not become a fight where you explain like, hey, this is how my significant other's family is, they're not really like us. It's not about not making jokes, or it's not that she can't handle joking or whatever. Right. It's more just about like her family is just different than ours, so maybe we can just like cool it with the jokes or cool it with whatever it is in just a calm way, and that's really the only way you can do it. If you start getting like combative or defensive, that's when, like, that for me, when I feel like somebody's coming at me, I get defensive immediately. I'll either shut down, I'll get emotional.
See, I'm the opposite. If that's the case, if somebody's coming to me, I meet them wherever their level's at. I go a notch right above that.
So like,
which
I feel
is very
like
bad.
In this case,
it's very bad.
No, but I think there should be a happy medium though.
Right.
Because like for me, like I shut down and I'll like just get emotional, or I'll just like I just feel like it's very quick for me to feel like I'm being attacked. So I can see where his parents might be coming from. Like they might just be like, well, now I can't even joke around with her at all. But it's more just like, hey, I'm not coming to attack you. We joke around, like we're cool with that, but she's just not as cool like with that because that's not how she grew up. Like just having that dialogue with families and understanding that all families are different. The dynamics are different. Right. You know, our families kind of are similar in the dynamics, right. I would feel.
And that might come early in a relationship. That might come, as you mentioned, when milestones happen, when you cross that bridge. You know, alhamdulillah, we haven't dealt with anything like that. Hopefully we don't have to, but I feel like it's inevitable. Things like that just naturally happen.
Everybody goes through stuff like that.
But
especially, I feel like it happens a lot more when you have kids too.
Yeah.
Like that's where like the opinions come. That's where like girls feel more like sensitive, and like topics can be very sensitive. And
girls and their sensitivity, that could be a whole topic on its own. That can be a whole topic on its own.
Boys are very sensitive too.
Boys can be very sensitive.
Would you say you're sensitive?
No. I'm not sensitive.
No.
I'm not sensitive at all.
At all?
Are you sensitive?
I'm sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Like I said, I feel like I've been like this my whole life. I have therapy inside my brain, you guys. Like I don't need to go to therapy. I probably do. I need to go to therapy.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. You need to go to therapy. Do you think you need to go to therapy?
Nope.
I'm
perfect. I'm great. I'm him.
The way you have conversations, you don't think you need to go to therapy sometimes?
No, I talk out loud. Everybody talks out loud. Speaking of talking out loud, July 11th, The Bachelorette. 7, 8 Central, right? Or 9, 8 Central. I don't know, whatever.
7 Central.
8, 7 Central. July 11th. No, I will not be on it, but my best friend will. My best friend, Mario Vasal. He will be. He's one of the guys on the show, and it's gonna be very cool. I know we digress, weird. But it's gonna be weird because it's like my best friend. So it's gonna be weird seeing him on national television, interacting with people, giving those little corny interviews.
He's just like him. So if you want to know, if you don't know Kay and you want to know about Kay's personality, watch The Bachelorette, and if you see Mario, it's weird and it's annoying.
I will have him on this show. Eventually, I'll have him on this show.
Wait, if we had a guest, where would we put them?
They would be right here. You wouldn't be there. So,
got it.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah, we'd have to like get a couch or something.
Yeah. We'll see, but that'll happen.
Mario would sit on his lap.
I told him I told him he's gonna be on. I'm gonna have him on the podcast soon when he frees up. But obviously his
life is gonna blow up now.
Because last night they publicly revealed who the guys are who contestants on the show, on TikTok. But now he's posting about it on Instagram. So I told him that his life is about to change for the better.
Good for him.
I feel like there's certain people that were made for this, and he's definitely one of them. He's a very personable person.
I always say that about
being in front of people.
Kay could totally, not on The Bachelorette, but Kay could do so good in like a game show, I think.
Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm excited to watch him on TV and see how his journey unfolds. Am I promoting him? What the heck?
You're promoting Bachelorette.
But no, I'm excited for him, so we'll see how that goes. July 11th.
Sponsor us.
Watch parties, do it all. Yeah, so.
What made you digress to that? That's like the ending of the podcast.
I have no idea, yeah.
I was in the middle of talking about my communication style, and you just really cut me off.
That's true.
See, that's what I live with, ladies and gentlemen, so now you know. What I was saying is that I had a very deep discussion in my own brain, and I feel as though forever I have been like since I was a kid. First of all, I'm very passive. Second of all, if I feel like somebody is making me feel...
Oh, you're passive. Not to me.
Not anymore.
Yeah, true.
Not anymore. I've gotten less. I still am. I feel like I could still work on it. But like the biggest thing that I learned about myself, especially after getting married and just like really thinking in my brain, like in my car rides and whatever, is that I have realized how defensive of a person I really am. Like when I feel like somebody is saying something negative about me, or like even if they're not even trying to be negative, and in my brain I feel like it's a negative comment about me, I shut down. I get very defensive. I get very like they're coming at me. I feel like I just realized how prideful I am of just myself. It is weird.
I feel like that happens to a lot of people. I think that's just the nature of somebody checking you or somebody coming at you because you might be like, but you're not used to it. You're not used to it.
I'm a little. It's more like a lot of the time I keep it in my brain, but a lot goes on in my brain.
I can tell.
My brain is like, ooh, if somebody was inside of my brain, you would not be one.
Yeah. It's like that SpongeBob episode where all the little SpongeBob has little file cabinets.
Man, my brain is crazy.
Yeah, my brain barely works, as you guys can. I want to redo for that spelling bee because people are coming to me saying you can't. Listen, it's not easy. I gave her first grade words. There's no way neighborhood or neighbor is a first grade word.
Who says neighbor?
Okay,
neighbor.
Okay,
like it'd be one thing if you spelled it BER.
Okay, honestly speaking,
BOOR.
Okay, listen right now.
Like you gave me buoyancy.
Listen, but that's a fifth grade. No, that was
a tricky word.
That was an eighth grade word.
That was a tricky word.
Yeah, but that's an eighth grade word. Find me one normal first grader who knows how to spell neighbor, and I've seen your students spell. They don't. There's no way. I've seen when she's grading work at home. There is not a single first grade you've ever had who can spell neighborhood. So I don't know where you got that from. That is not a first grade word.
What was your first grade word for me?
Pretend. Normal first grade word.
No, people could say PER. Pretend. No. Next episode, we'll do the second half of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I think you'll redeem yourself.
But we can't do. It's not a spelling bee. It has to be like science.
No, it's Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
But it's not just. It's not.
It'll be topics.
Spelling though.
No, it'll be like questions that we have to answer.
Then why did you say the second half? We didn't do the first half.
No. I mean the second half of the podcast. We'll probably talk about other stuff.
True.
But yeah, I feel like we could have a whole conversation about like different types of like how people argue, how people handle confrontation with their significant other, all that kind of stuff, because I could work on it.
Maybe we can go on TikTok live and find random other
that'd
people.
be a good discussion.
Yeah, maybe
one of these days during the week. He's gonna be busy next week, so we'll see.
Yeah. So
but we will do that Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader next episode because I want to crush him again.
True.
What else do you have to say to the people?
What I have to say is
comment down below.
Russell Westbrook looks like he's gonna stay with the Lakers.
We don't care.
So it's gonna be Russ, AD, and Bron.
I'm Bulls all day, every day.
Name 2 players on the Bulls right now.
D Rose.
Again, name 2 players on the Bulls right now. She claims to be a Bulls fan.
You guys know that I was at the game where he tore.
Don't change the subject. Name 2 players on the Bulls right now.
Lonzo.
Who else?
And Tristan Thompson.
I don't think he's on the Bulls anymore.
How did he was on there for 2 days?
I mean, the season came in pretty late.
Whatever. I just named 2.
Name
and
3.
I hate
Name one
Tristan
more.
Thompson.
Name one more.
Oh, that one freaking guy.
Oh, that's specific.
The one MVP.
Bulls don't have an MVP on their roster right now.
They do.
Who?
Everybody screams MVP for him.
Doesn't mean he won the MVP. They
What's his
want him
name?
to win the MVP. I don't know. You tell me.
Give me the first letter of his last name.
D. His first letter, his both initials are D. DD.
DD?
Yeah.
I don't know.
DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, wow. Why'd you say that? Why'd you say his name like that?
That's his name, DeMar DeRozan from Compton, West Coast, LA. You know the vibes.
Yeah, I've been to Compton before. We drove around Compton.
We did not drive around in Compton.
We did.
We went to go pick up
We went to the
car.
Walgreens.
Oh, yeah. Went to a Walgreens in Compton. Because I don't know what we were trying to get.
Wait, what was I trying to say before this? You just get me off track.
That some people think cucumbers taste better pickled.
That's facts.
Where's that from?
I have no idea.
Dave Chappelle.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, let these people know your unpopular opinion. Go ahead, tell them.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna.
She doesn't think Dave Chappelle is funny.
No, that's not true.
She actually just started. She just figured out. I think I just introduced her to Dave Chappelle last year, which is absolutely.
I knew who
sad.
Dave Chappelle was. I thought Kevin Hart was really funny back in the day, and now
I think like everyone thought K Hart was funny. Like
he was.
back
You
in
just
the
said
day.
KR KH.
K Hart.
Oh, K Hart.
What I
You
say?
said KR.
No, K Hart.
Oh.
I feel like everyone thought he was funny until he just was everywhere, every second on every screen. I was like, all right, too much. It's overkill.
Yeah, he man, his stand-ups back in the day though were really funny.
Extremely funny.
It takes a lot, for me to watch something and to laugh. Right? I don't really
Yeah.
laugh at very much.
Yeah, he barely laughs at The Office, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
I
Which is
barely
the
laugh
greatest show of all time,
Yeah,
by the
he
way.
loves The Office.
But anywho.
Yeah. Anywho, but what I do want is please comment topics or things that you would like for us to talk about or challenges that you want us to play. That's all I have to say. What do you have to say to the people? One last thing.
So long, farewell to you, my friends.